Yes, we're live. Welcome to Cross Politic. What just happened?
Yes.
Yes.
Are you on?
Am I on? Mic check. Is that you? I don't know what's going on. All right. Yes, yes. Welcome to Cross Politic on the Fight Laugh Feast Network. Pastor Toby Chuck Docs. I'm the water boy.
You had such a strong start, too.
I know. It was doing so good.
You had such a strong start.
Party Like It's 1776. This magazine just released in July. And if you sign up for our magazine subscription now, we will...
raise it up. Raise it up.
Raise it up? Oh, he wants me to raise it up. Okay.
So people can see it.
Oh, I have no cameraman over here, so I gotta
You gotta do all your own work. Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Thank you. No, I should have just been looking at the screen. Oh, that makes sense.
Oh,
now.
wow.
I see that.
I can't leave that long again.
If you subscribe to our magazine, all I'm trying to say
is... it was like all week long when you're gone.
If you subscribe to our magazine, email us, contact@fightlaughfeast.com, saying that you subscribed, and we'll send you this issue for free.
So what does a party like 1776 mean and look like?
It means like Prodigal America in October. You like how I just did that? 31st and November 2nd?
America.
We're going to party like it's 1776.
A lot of repentance.
At prodigalamerica.com. Make sure you sign up. And if you want to vend or booth, you better sign up now. We got tons of vendors. We got a whole media row. So if you want to host your podcast there, you can sign up for Media Row. There's a bunch of good stuff happening in the vendor boothing section. As always, we actually have our vendors in the same area as the conference attendees and setup. And it's such a fantastic relationship.
I make it my goal to try and do every podcast that shows up there. Like I try to do that every time.
We have enough room for 20. So fun. And so we got 20 spots, and we got a little bit of room left. Greg Moore from Dead Man Walking is actually hosting our podcast Media Row. Yeah. And we got some fun podcasts.
Don't forget, your whole family is very welcome. We love the little ones there. Yeah. It's a family-friendly event. I mean, there's people there. Sometimes they'll bring their packet.
No. We're not family friendly. We're family focused.
Oh,
centric.
Right. Family centric.
That's right. That's
oh my
right.
goodness. Yeah, but there's like pack and plays and blankets on the floor.
Water baptisms for babies.
What? Water baptisms?
We do a full immersion for babies. I have no problem with that.
I did one of those this year.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I would always feel awkward. I'm like going to put a whole baby underwater.
It was the first one, and my wife was like, "Should they sign a waiver?"
You bat the Presbyterian. What is that? That's hilarious.
I don't know. Anyways,
I like it.
I know.
I'm with it.
I mean, I believe I'm equal opportunity baptizer. I mean,
that's funny.
I'll do it for you.
That's great.
Mount Athos Performance was created to support your quest for excellence in body, mind, and soul. Here on the Holy Mountain, we believe that true strength is not measured merely in gains, but rather in pursuing anti-fragile longevity, mental resilience, and a rejection of the soul-destroying hedonism of the modern fitness culture. From energizing pre-workouts to muscle-building protein, Mount Athos Performance has everything you need to supplement the holistic foundation of authentic strength and vitality you are building. These supplements also uniquely feature the historic goodness of grass-fed goat whey made in the Pacific Northwest. Visit athosperform.com. That's athosperform.com/FLF today to discover supplements built on purity, sustainability, and the pursuit of excellence. That's athosperform.com/FLF.
So sometimes show prep is just crazy. And then as today started rolling out and watching Cheatle, the director of Secret Service, being interviewed by Congress. Like videos just started coming out, clips just started coming out, and it was just like, I mean, the competency of the director of Secret Service is so astounding. I can't help that there's some intentionality to it. Like I'm breaking some sort of logic law or something when I say that, but I can't help it. And so today, the director, Cheatle, who's the director of Secret Service, was up on the Hill being interviewed by both Democrats and Republicans.
So this is the director of Secret Service during the attempted assassination of former President Trump.
Well, not during, but she's being interviewed about it today.
But she's the director.
Yeah, during, yeah. She oversaw it, and just like, we're going to go through this here in a minute. But,
or she didn't oversee it.
Yeah, right.
Oh, man. So here's her kind of being interviewed on the Hill today. And we can't grab all the clips, but there was so much there. We're trying to hopefully give you some highlights. But Democrats were even asking her some hard questions.
AOC
that she
went after,
AOC. Anyways, this is with, I forget, the congressman out of Texas.
How did a 20-year-old loner with a week's notice pick the absolute best location to assassinate President Trump when the entire Secret Service missed it?
Dang!
Director Cheatle, in your leadership, your agency got outsmarted and outmaneuvered by a 20-year-old.
Dang!
How can we have any confidence that you could stop trained professionals from a nefarious nation state?
Dang.
Those are absolutely questions that we need to have.
I know they're questions, but the fact of the matter is we can't have that confidence. I own an AR-15, and last time I shot it one time my whole life. It was 6 years ago. That is until Saturday, where we recreated the events in Savoy, Texas. We recreated what happened in Butler. I was lying prone on a sloped roof at 130 yards at 6:30 at night. You know what the result was? 15 out of 16 kill shots. Dang. And the one I missed would have hit the president's ear.
Look,
that's a 94% success rate. And that shooter was a better shot than me. It is a miracle President Trump wasn't killed. Corey Compatore's life is over because that damn shooter made it on the roof. And it wasn't the roof that was dangerous. It was the nut job on top of the roof. You know what else is dangerous? I believe your horrifying ineptitude and your lack of skilled leadership is a disgrace. Your obfuscating today is shameful. And you should be fired immediately and go back to guarding Doritos. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Guarding Doritos.
What? What?
Because she was she's the director of security for Pepsi,
Doritos,
which oversees,
Cheetos,
owns Cheetos and Doritos and all that stuff.
And that's wow.
But look, he brought his pattern in.
Yeah,
and he hadn't shot his gun in 6 years.
Yeah,
but has this, scopes it out.
Can I just say right now, don't be that be shooting your AR a lot more than 6 years.
I know. Yeah.
One of the things please,
But still, I'm pretty comfortable with him being
that's a pretty good grouping for 6 years.
He could have made
Knox is never satisfied.
He could have made 90 to 100. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my goodness.
But his first point is pretty astounding. But here's what I found:
outsmarted a 20-year-old. Outsmarted the Secret Service.
Do you believe that?
No, I don't. But here. Listen to this. This is I find one of the most egregious admissions of her testimony all day that I saw. There's a lot more that I didn't see.
Does the Secret Service routinely record communications between and amongst detail?
Radio communications?
Any communication?
Well, email communications are captured, as well as text messages. And then depending on the detail, radio communications are recorded.
Does the Secret Service have recorded communications from the July 13th event?
We do not have radio communications from that day.
Oh, interesting.
Why
don't
not?
have radio communications?
The follow-up question is,
not?
Well, there's that. But I would ask, were there radio communications? I'm going to assume that there were.
Did y'all talk to each other?
but let's double check.
Just want to know. Where's there conversations back and forth?
Secondly, were they recorded?
Mm-hmm. Which is what he asked.
No. He asks, do we have them?
Which is in the context of recording them.
I know, but I'm asking, you need to.
I see what you're doing here.
I want to know, did something happen to them?
Oh.
Which is why we don't have them.
Right.
She says, no, we don't have them. He did not ask, but did we?
It's like Moscow PD didn't have recordings of Rory Wilson and all that stuff.
Did we have recordings?
Yeah.
At any time? That's the question we need to ask. I mean, she might say no, but I mean, Doug Wilson. Love Doug. I want to encourage everyone who's distressed that Kimberly Cheatle hasn't resigned yet. Do you have any idea how many documents need to be shredded first? Give her a minute.
She's catching up.
How many recordings need to be deleted?
Joe Rigney, I think, made the most prescient observation in all this. Because I said prescient.
Yeah, okay. You just keep saying it that way.
It's a big word.
Really?
Yeah.
We pronounce it prescient in English, but that's okay.
It's shh there. and he said,
I'm going to fix it.
And I'm going to fix it. Because I asked the question, I was like, why has she not been fired yet?
Yeah.
Cheatle. And Joe said, well, she wasn't really hired for her competency. Yeah, so why would she be fired for her incompetency?
It's true.
And that's the same thing with Kamala Harris. She wasn't hired for competency. She wasn't VP nomination for a competency. She got VP nomination because she had boobs and she was black.
This is DEI.
Yeah, that's DEI.
Yeah,
this is DEI hires.
But here's what's crazy. So Senator Ron Johnson.
You know I'm not going to let you off the hook on whether or not you think your 20-year-old outsmarted them.
You want me?
I kind of want to know what you think.
Well, this plays into this answer.
Okay, good.
Senator Ron Johnson, who was pretty awesome during COVID. You remember he brought in Dr. Jay Bhattacharya
from Wisconsin, right?
Yeah,
Ron Johnson from Wisconsin.
He did all these investigations himself with his own staff, with his own congressional money, all that stuff, with no help. Well, he's doing the same thing here with this whole Secret Service debacle. And Homeland Security was involved, and FBI was involved. They're all involved, right? And the local police. So he goes through, he actually produces this 13-page, he calls preliminary findings. Now, keep in mind, he doesn't have the FBI access. In fact, the FBI is blocking his request. The Homeland Security are blocking his request.
Yeah.
Secret Service is blocking their request.
They got to shred papers.
Yeah, they got to shred papers, right?
They're busy right now.
So he puts this preliminary finding document together based on all the public evidence, videotapes, and people who will talk to them.
So he's doing...
You want to know who talked to them? The local PD in Pennsylvania did.
Of course.
Right?
Local law enforcement says communications were siloed and they were not in frequent radio contact. See, that's why you got to ask. Were you in radio contact?
Were you in radio contact?
Not frequent.
Not frequently.
Yeah. So he goes through, he puts together a timeline.
Yep.
He puts together all the public available information that he can.
He starts his timeline 8 days before the Trump rally.
Yeah, that's right.
So
because that when the kid first showed up or something.
They identified crooks. An hour before.
Yes. Oh, wait. You don't even. Gabe, you got to start. Okay, I think you need to start at 9:27 a.m.
Whoa.
Do it. Go.
Thomas Matthew Crooks, the alleged shooter, enters a Home Depot located in Bethel Park. And there's footage of him from the Home Depot reportedly shows the shooter entering alone at 9:41. So it took him a little bit. Crooks purchases a 5-foot aluminum dual platform ladder.
Why do you need a ladder?
That's not to. There's the information there is.
I wish we had this video.
He got the information from Home Depot.
At one point, listen. At one point, they asked her of a timeline. They asked Cheatle of a timeline. And she said, I don't really have a timeline.
Yeah.
She basically said, I have a very vague timeline. Ron Johnson has a very specific timeline, and he doesn't have access to all these records.
That's why the representative from Texas is mad.
Yeah.
That's why he says you're obfuscating here. That's infuriating.
Yeah.
Because
she won't even talk to her timeline.
Ron Johnson's already got a timeline.
Yep.
He knows she knows.
Yeah.
So when Trump got shot, it was like at 6:11, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
That's just in my head.
6:11 came to my head.
Okay, it's not. Stop that. Stop that.
What about Revelation 6:11?
Oh my goodness.
We even checked Matthew 6:11?
No.
What about Psalms?
Genesis 6:11 comes right after Genesis 6:9 talking about murder.
Help them. These people don't need help.
All right.
5:10. So this is an hour roughly before Trump is shot.
Yeah, I know. That's when they pick him up.
That's when I wanted you to go ahead and read that part.
Yeah, at July 13, nearly an hour before former President Trump was shot, one of 2 local law enforcement snipers here after AGR Sniper 1, positioned in the AGR building, observed the shooter, Crooks, for the first time. Local law enforcement told Senator Johnson's office that at the time, even though Crooks did not have a weapon, he seemed suspicious. Suspicious character, 5'10".
I'm going to tell you something.
Suspicious character gets on the roof. Suspicious character gets on the roof with a ladder. Suspicious character gets on the roof with a ladder with a gun. Up on the roof.
Can I just...
They saw him
Message.
An hour before.
Hey, Pastor Toby, let's just pretend real quick. Like, you got a phone right there. Let's just say your wife has your number. She calls you.
Yeah. Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
There's a suspicious character in the yard.
Yeah.
And your response is,
go get the shotgun. Yeah. I'll be home.
I'll be home in just a minute.
Call the cops. She says, the cops are already here and they're observing it.
They're literally following him around.
He left and came back with a ladder. What are they doing now? Nothing.
Okay.
Seriously.
We should totally do a Saturday Night Live skit like that. What
is he doing now?
He's climbing on the roof.
With a ladder and a gun.
And the cops are like, yeah, we see.
Yeah, he's on there.
We see him.
We saw him.
Yes.
Yeah, he's on the roof.
With a ladder and a gun. Who's close to him?
Why didn't you shoot him? He's suspicious.
Yeah. At 5:14, AGR Sniper 1 took at least 2 pictures of Crooks. They're taking pictures. They took pictures. They're taking. It's like this is like a nature documentary.
I know.
There's a young man on the roof.
We're observing. a potential assassin.
Take a picture of him.
It's like, what's his name? The guy that would crawl.
Yeah.
And I see he's the Australian guy. What's his name?
Yeah. I know who you're talking.
This is a rare breed.
Yeah.
We thought these were extinct.
Oh, good day, mate. I see the assassin coming up on the ridge. He's a rare breed. Look at his white skin. It's almost alligator like albino alligator like, mate.
He's like 20 years old.
I don't think he's that dangerous. He's only 20.
He goes Scottish all of a sudden.
I don't know how that happened.
They carry guns.
I go in and out. Yeah, man. He's on the roof, man.
This is how they attract their mates.
Oh man.
This is absolutely
read what happens at 5:38.
Insane. I didn't even
You got to keep going.
Hey,
keep
audience, you can if you tell me how many accents I just walked through, count them for me. Like the gunshots, count them for me and get
5:38. Sniper 1 sends message to the sniper group about crooks. We don't know what the message says. 5:40. Sniper 1 is told to call into command regarding crooks. This is still 30 minutes.
Yeah.
30 minutes before the shots.
Hey, can we just send an Go ahead. I just wonder why we can't send an officer up. Hey, can we just have somebody go talk to this? Can we just
look here? I mean, I'm just a pastor of a little church in Moscow, but we have security.
Yeah.
You know, and it is routine for security when we have new people that we don't know. The security goes up and talks to them.
Introduce themselves. Hey, welcome.
Who are you? Where are you from? You know, it's just get to know you.
You know, we actually have a training with T-Rex Arms inside of the app where they talk about how to do good church security. It is fantastic.
Download the Fight Laugh Feast app if you don't have it. Find the church security with T-Rex.
They walk through this because they talk about in the moment. First of all, you just want to be a good host.
He said,
this guy counted. He said, I caught 6 accents. That was the worst Steve Irwin I've ever heard.
Pray for us. We got to deal with that every day.
I know.
5:41. Sniper 1 calls into command and provides a description of Crooks and the rangefinder, as well as Crooks was lurking around the AGR building. Okay, suspicious guy.
You know why he needed a rangefinder? Because when he throws the baseball with his friend, he knows how far he's throwing the ball.
No. Rangefinder's for golfing. Oh, so when you're in the middle of the fairway, you need to know how far are you from that hole. So you pull that out.
That's
150 yards.
You know who loves golf?
What's he doing? I think he's golfing. Send.
Yeah.
The suspicious guy, he's just a golfer.
No, he's not.
How many people show up with a rangefinder?
For real.
Trump does love golf.
5:49. Photos of crooks are sent to Butler ESU Command.
Oh my goodness.
Now we're sending the pictures. ESU Command at 5:55 confirms receipt of the photos and states they have been relayed on. We got the pictures. Wow. We put them on Instagram. Wow. Butler ESU Command asks for the direction that Crooks is traveling. AGR Sniper 1 is initially unsure of the direction Crooks is traveling. 6:05 p.m. AGR Sniper 1 later communicates that Crooks is seen moving northeast in the direction of Sheets. That's one of the buildings. And the Crooks has a backpack. Suspicious guy with a backpack. 6:06 to 6:12. AGR Sniper 1 goes to ground floor of the building to meet local law enforcement patrol to alert them to Crooks' presence.
Why is he going down? I don't understand. I'm serious. Why is he going? Isn't that what comms are for? Isn't that what communication is for? So that I don't have to physically come down to
6:11. Crooks begins shooting, and Corey Comparatori, is dead
because of this incompetence.
What? This is insane. And I'm almost there with the congressman from Texas. I mean, he's got mad.
Yeah,
at Cheatle.
He's like, I made 15 out of 16 shots.
This is absolutely
so this
insane.
Video imagery, I'm sure a lot of our people who are tuning in right now have seen it, but just kind of putting the bullet trajectory in relation to the reality of where Trump's head is at. It's shocking, and it's obvious that God ordained the bullet to miss Trump.
Yep.
Play the clip. So people can see while we're talking.
Take a look what happened.
Wow.
I mean, you see that in a relationship to his head turning.
Yeah. Yes.
And that,
boom, just right there.
That's incredible.
And at the RNC acceptance speech, he says, I was looking at this slide.
Yeah.
They put a slide up. That's what I turned to look at. And if I hadn't looked at that slide, I'd be dead.
Yeah. It's incredible.
Absolutely nuts.
And you have here, so here's, I think part of God's word always comes true.
Mm-hmm.
And you have multiple times Psalms. I went and spoke at the Nashville 10 rally and on Psalm 35. And one of my opening remarks was saying, I don't understand how you can process our times without reading the Psalms. Mm-hmm. You go through the Psalms. How many times in the Psalms does it say that, hey, guess what? The wicked are going to fall into their own traps.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, the foolish are going to fall into their own traps. It's just going to happen. It's like gravity in the Psalms, right?
Right.
And it's not that. I think I actually hope that some of the Republicans fall into their own trap. I hope that the Republicans and some of the nefarious stuff that's going on in the Republican Party, they've run into their own traps. But if there's anything that's so clear to me right now, watching, Joe Biden just stepped down. We'll talk about that here in a minute. Kamala Harris, whatever her name is likely going to be the anointed one, or maybe Hillary Clinton. We'll talk about that in a minute. But you go through and you look at the Democratic Party and all the traps that they set for President Trump. Russia collusion, FBI raids, secret documents that were all fake pictures, come to find out. Mm-hmm. You go through the FBI and all the traps. They're trying to arrest pro-lifers. Yep. You go through now the Secret Service. Who knows how much incompetence is attributed, how much is attributed to incompetence or how much is attributed to the actual fact that they're trying to set Trump up for assassination.
Yeah.
I don't know. But they're falling into all their traps. Yeah. Who believes the FBI now? Who wants the FBI leading this investigation? I haven't heard one Republican say, oh, yeah, I'm so glad the FBI is leading the investigation into the Trump assassination.
But nobody trusts it.
No one trusts them. Who trusts the director of Secret Service? Who trusts the Democratic Party that they are really for the democratic process right now as they're fixing to anoint Kamala Harris at the convention?
Yeah.
Or maybe Hillary Clinton. Those are my two. I think God is taking away all the authority that the Democrats grabbed or attempted to grab over the last 4 years, 8 years, starting with the Russia collusion hoax. And remember, they used FISA documents. They manipulated the courts to get what they want, and they're all falling into their own traps now. It's either the Secret Service director is going to get fired, or it's going to be found out that she actually was part of this whole thing, and she's going to go to jail.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, that's funny.
That's real.
But it's giving Trump, if this is true, if what I'm saying is actually true, and even some of the details that I'm not even articulating, Trump has all sorts of street cred now to go in and disband the FBI DC office in a way he didn't have before.
Hey, Neil.
Trump has all the street authority to go in and disband the Department of Education.
Could you check and see if we still have that Epstein list? Has it ever been released?
Exactly.
Has anybody ever? It's not public. Mm-hmm. Nobody knows. Like the list that he had all his clients. Nobody knows who the client. Okay, just wondering because you act like we're gonna get some justice and get some information about it. I don't think that's
but that's the point of this report. Senator Ron Johnson has
hilarious.
No access to any of these Secret Service documents or any of the recordings or any of the FBI probes or none of that. He has his own staff going down to Pennsylvania interviewing cops.
Yeah, I'm grateful for that.
What you have is Twitter winning. Make the connection here. Yeah. I went on when the whole assassination thing attempt happened. We talked about I think Toby or me and Knox. We talked about this live on our live show. Is that I tried to go to Facebook. I tried to go to Instagram.
I tried to lag.
The only reliable place I could go to get up to date information was Twitter.
Yeah, that was a huge lag.
All these 3D models we see here. Yeah, these are done by people.
Yeah.
This is not the FBI releasing this. This is not Secret Service releasing this.
Right.
This is people.
And shared on X.
This is the Citizens Journal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really good. And I think your bigger point, Gabe, is actually really worth underlining. It's really, really important to have these physical means. So God is not only spared Trump's life but allowed for Elon Musk to purchase X, allowed for Ron Johnson's to do this investigative reporting, and so on. And you got all kinds of concerned citizens that are just sort of sourcing stuff. Yeah. And of course, there's a bunch of conspiracy theories and a bunch of crazy stuff in the mix of it all.
But I'd rather sort through that than legacy media lying to us.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I think the bigger point that you're making is really worth underlining, which is the fact that despite all of it, the truth always comes out.
God's word always returns.
And those who plot evil things fall into the pits that they dig. Yeah. That is true.
Yeah.
And that is happening, even though it doesn't happen on our timeline.
Right.
And I think that's very astute. That's really, really good point.
I think, so I hadn't thought about that particularly the way that you said it, and I think that that's right. And I think it adds to how I've been thinking about this, because the question, as soon as you see this, you guys know I pretty much live with aluminum foil hat on all the time. Like, I am conspiracy.
Yeah, we make you take it off for the show.
You do.
Put it right back on.
For the most part, I got foil underneath my clothes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like your Mormon underwear.
Don't ever disrespect the foil like that. It actually does stuff.
That's funny.
I mean, he's got a lot more kids than us, Gabe. So,
but here's that's funny, Pastor. Okay, but here's the deal. I think that
is it the foil?
No,
it gives you more kids.
No, okay, I get it. No, but I think there is a reality to the fact that they're falling in their own traps. I think, though, when I look at most of everybody, we see this, and conspiracy, I think, jumps right to our head. And for sure, me. Mm-hmm. But I think we underestimate at what level our institutions are incompetent.
Yeah.
I mean, look, we don't think about it like this, but when's the last time you've been able to go to even a fast food joint and get the burger that you actually ordered?
Yeah.
I mean, at a very basic level, like, just competency is just poor. I mean, and with the DEI stuff, we are intentionally trying to make it that way. You don't have to be competent to do anything in the world anymore.
We have institutionalized incompetence.
Which now creates the kind of place where it's like, how could somebody possibly? You got to remember, we're doing this on the edge of a generation who used to know what competency was like. Yeah. We used to know. Our generation understood you couldn't do anything in this world. Right. You couldn't be hired for a job without being competent.
Right.
Now you can get hired to be the head of the Secret Service and not really have to ever been competent.
Right.
Yeah. And it's starting. And so I think that our desire to believe that our institutions are more solid than what they are is really what's being exposed for us. And we don't get out of this particular situation, I don't think, thinking that the erosion of our institutions for the last 20 years and incompetency, nobody knows what competency looks like on a basic level. How are we going to know in our federal institutions?
And I'm going to take it another step, and I'm going to say, and unfortunately, the church has led the way.
Well, that's where I was going.
I mean,
Steve Day said the reason why President Trump got shot at is because our pastors are not worthy to be shot at.
That's true too. But I was thinking of Matt Chandler's Black 7 or whatever it was.
Incompetence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that was Matt Chandler.
Yes. Because of race.
Head of Acts 29, I think at the time. I don't know. At least one of the leaders.
He was a part of it.
Is saying practice DEI in the church.
Yeah, right.
Because that way we would look more judicious. To have somebody who's not as competent to be there, but their race makes up for whatever.
Yeah.
That's like, wait. That's not how I want a surgeon to be.
Right.
I don't care what color you are. I want you excellent.
Are you a Black 7?
Were you the top you got a class, or are you a Black 7?
No, I don't need. That's not. Yeah. But it's all. But that is the institutionalization of incompetence.
Yeah.
It's saying we would prefer incompetence for the veneer of virtue. It's a veneer of virtue. Mm-hmm. Of multiculturalism, of acceptance, of non-bigotry, right? That we're acceptance. We're accepting. We're affirming. We're multicultural. We're whatever. Look how virtuous we are. But what we're doing is act like in the name of loving people, we're hating people.
Yeah,
because incompetence. Because of incompetence, one man is dead, and two other men are severely wounded. Yeah. Right? Because of that incompetence, because this is just another name for Pharisaism, right? Pharisaism washes the outside of the cup.
Yeah.
We make the tomb look real pretty, and inside are dead man's bones. And Jesus is
everything unclean.
Everything's unclean. And Jesus is not over. That's not like hyperbole. He's not overstating. He's not saying you know what that gets you is death. No, we just saw that. You have a veneer of holiness, a veneer of virtue.
Yeah, works righteousness.
Yeah, you know, look at how many women we have in Congress.
Yeah, right. How many women we on Secret Service?
Look how many women we have on Secret Service.
Me and Annie on our water break last week, and we talked about how feminism's destroyed the Secret Service.
Yeah.
And we went through the Secret Service standards for
fitness.
Fitness.
I saw you shared the screenshot,
the stats
on X,
of it, and one of the stats was, you know, a man needed to do 11 chin-ups, and that was excellent, which is still a little low for being excellent to me, even though I couldn't do that. But that's why we want people to be able to do that, to lift the president up, to pull the president down, whatever.
Yeah,
and the women's and men's poor was 4 chin-ups. Women's excellent was 4 chin-ups.
Okay. Yeah.
To get in, you know
why?
Why?
Because they different.
Right. But that means
they're different.
But that means that if you have an excellent woman, right,
she can't even be.
She is a poor man. And by the way, you know,
that should be a good thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
And given if you're talking about what a woman's glory and strength is, a man is going to be poor at what a woman is excellent
at. That's exactly right.
Right? We're not made the same.
Yeah.
We have different glories.
Yeah.
But this is Pharisaism, and we are Pharisees. We are a Pharisaical nation. We have institutionalized a veneer of virtue, a veneer of wisdom, and what we have actually institutionalized is incompetence, and incompetence kills people.
And you know, if you want to smoke a Pharisee, you can go to 6089 Cigars and buy Pharisees because you can smoke them there.
What?
We
are you serious?
Yeah, I'm dead serious.
We
have a whole acid line. You know the acid line?
No.
It's flavor cigars. We have a whole line called Pharisees. And that's our acid competitor line.
I don't know how I feel about that.
They're actually pretty decent. I'm not a flavor cigar guy, but these were actually pretty decent. I know Knox will actually like them. But, you know,
so there's 3 things.
Smoke the Pharisees.
There's 3 things you should know about 1689 Cigars. When you purchase from 1689cigars.com, you help provide jobs for folks in Nicaragua who would otherwise not have a very difficult time providing for their families and be reduced to handouts. Every time you enjoy products from 1689cigars.com, you support Reformed Church planters in Nicaragua. 1689cigars.com is owned and operated by bivocational pastors here in the U.S. who resonate with Pastor Charles Spurgeon when he said, "I intend to smoke a good cigar to the glory of God before I go to bed tonight." I don't think he said anything about smoking Pharisees. 1689cigars.com is...
Although we should.
1689cigars.com is honored to partner with Reformed Cigars by selling all the blends and sizes available from Reformed Cigars. Whether your palate prefers a full-bodied Maduro, a mild Connecticut, or somewhere in between, 1689cigars.com has a blend for you. While shopping at 1689cigars.com, make sure to check out their great t-shirts, stickers, glasses, and more, and be sure to check back regularly as they're adding new products all the time, apparently like Pharisee cigars. That's 1689cigars.com. Smoke to the glory of God.
Do you have time to read the Corey Kemper-Torrey?
Yes, quickly.
Before you run?
Yeah.
Sure.
I just think it's one of the, you know.
From his daughter.
From his daughter. Stick around here.
There's Corey.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is husband,
this is the guy who passed
father,
away. Yep.
who was murdered.
Yeah, that's right. Don't just say passed away.
By this 20-year-old kid.
That's right.
Who intended to shoot President Trump and instead murdered this man, Corey. And this is a post that his daughter put up.
Well, not say just one comment leading up to this. Apparently, what happened was the shooting happened, and he threw his body on his wife and daughter
to protect them.
Well, I think is that in the statement?
Oh, okay.
Is that what I'm going to read?
Let's read the statement.
I assume
here.
that's what I was going to read.
It's in your notes, Toby. It's in your notes.
Oh, it's not on the.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's too much to put on the screen.
Yeah. So the statement, he says, this is from Allison. Yesterday, time stopped, and when it started again, my family and I started living a real life nightmare. What was supposed to be an exciting day that we had all looked forward to, especially my dad, turned into the most traumatizing experiences someone could imagine. I know the media will cover this event. I'm going to try my best to stay away from looking at everything, especially because I've already seen and lived through it in real time. But I want everyone to know what the media will not cover and will not say about him. He was the best dad a girl could ever ask for.
Patriarchy.
My sister and I never needed for anything. You call, he would answer. He would do whatever it is you needed. And if he didn't know how, he would figure it out. He could talk and make friends with anyone, which he was doing all day yesterday, and loved every minute of it. He was a man of God, loved Jesus fiercely, and also looked after our church and our members as family. The media will not tell you that he died a real-life superhero. They're not going to tell you how quickly he threw my mom and I to the ground. They were not going to tell you that he shielded my body from the bullet that came at us. He loved his family. He truly loved us enough to take a real bullet for us. And I want nothing more than to cry on him and tell him thank you. I want nothing more than to wake up and for this not to be reality for me and my family. We lost a selfless, loving husband, father, brother, uncle, son, and friend. And I will never stop thinking about him and mourning over him until the day that I die too. July 13th will forever be a day that changed my life. I will never be the same person I was less than 24 hours ago. There are a lot of children out there that say their dad is their hero, but my dad really is mine. I don't think I would be here today without him. Dad, I love you so much. There aren't enough words to express how deep that love goes. I know you'll give heaven some hell. I know that God is proud of the man that came to his gates yesterday.
Beautiful. You know, DEI is you die for me.
Yeah.
You know, patriarchy is I'm going to die for you.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
Right.
DEI is like, hey, let's put the shortest woman around Trump. That's not going to shield the bullets from him. If Trump dies for her, so she can have a job. And so she can bring equity and diversity to the Secret Service.
There is, Pastor, I know you got to run, so you got to do your thing. I just want to point out just some basic things with this. When your institutions fail, it's going to have to be you.
Right. You're going to have to figure out how to take responsibility.
We're all Corey.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to have to be the guy.
When the Secret Service fails you,
when the Secret Service
FBI
fails, when the police fail, when the security, when it all fails, you know, like we're going to have to run around with a badge like, I'm Corey.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Nobody's coming to save us in this one.
No.
And our families are going to have men their reflex.
That's right, Knox.
Is to throw their family down and jump and take the bullet.
Yep.
It's not going to be anybody else. It's going to be us. Yeah. And every time I heard that, Pastor, God bless you. Yeah. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Toby.
Every time I hear this story, it tears me up. And I remember the first time I saw this story, I actually was online and was reading it. Man, I was just bawling.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I was by myself because there's so many things that hit with this. One of them is, we talked to Nate Spearing a little bit during the live show. It's helpful.
Yeah.
But if you're not thinking about the moment and practicing for the moment and being ready for the moment, then you're not going to be able to deal with the moment. Like, you're going to have to get your mind. This is why you carry a gun. Because carrying a gun, you always are putting yourself in the mindset that I am walking out of here willing to die for somebody today.
Right.
If I have to. Willing to take somebody else's life to save another life if I have to. And it builds a type of mindset around you that when you don't carry your gun, guess how you feel? The same exact way, because it reminds you of being human. We love life. We protect life. We fight for life, right? And so you have to do things to develop that mindset that you don't fall when the moment comes.
It's self-responsibility. It's self-discipline.
It's all sorts of little things, that you have to build out.
It's your self-government.
And there was, like, Corey was there for his family.
That's right.
And every man is going to have to be like, that's me. I'm going to have to be that guy.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to get ready to take. And so you better.
Well, and it was also a very instinctual thing from Corey.
Yeah. He was
you
already
can't lay
a hero.
down your life in that moment if you haven't been laying your life down for your family all up to that moment.
He's a fireman.
Yeah.
He's running into buildings.
He's working on it,
to save people's lives.
He helps his kids anytime they call him.
Right, exactly. He's disciplined. And so we're going to have to, not all of us have those type of jobs that throw us into the line of danger. But we're going to have to be thinking, okay.
Well, being a dad, you should have that mentality already.
Yeah.
By being a dad.
Absolutely. And so you're practicing every day.
Yeah.
You're practicing every day. You're thinking of the plan in your home. If I ever have to deal with something in my house, you're thinking with stuff at your church. I also think that if we're in society, this is interesting, but if we're in society, we're also going to have to be the guy who's like, hey, man, put that back. You can't steal that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not yours.
If our institutions are as broken as I think they are, and I really do believe they are.
Well, in California, it really is.
It really
is. You
is.
can steal all sorts of things out of
exactly.
stores.
And so,
and not get in trouble.
And I'm not trying to say you have to be the vigilante, but there's some point where you have to going to engage. Wherever I'm at, I'm going to have to deal with the situation. And I'm going to have to make a calculation if I have my family with me, or if I don't have my family with me, how wise do I need to be in this moment? There's all sorts of, you better be saturated in the word of God and learn how not to be fearful, how to be fearless in those moments.
That's right.
Otherwise, when these moments come, you're going to be ducking and dodging yourself, and you're not going to be like Corey, who throws himself over his family and gets him down. That's just like, and that's just clear to me. Like, the institutions are going to save you. Yeah. They're not going to be there for you. No. And so we're going to have to do it for each other. Yeah.
So, and here's what's like, you remember when Nate Wilson came on our show?
I hate it every time he comes on.
I know he always says something prophetic that I'm just like, oh my goodness. He said things are going to get crazier under the Trump re-election stuff. This is before COVID. Mm-hmm. It's like January, I think it's January 2020 or February 2020 when Nate came on. He said, oh yeah, it's going to get crazier. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to get crazier. And then COVID hit. Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, it's hard to imagine that things are crazier than the COVID years. It's COVID year. I mean, people are telling you to shut down, don't go to work. All that. I mean, like the whole world went crazy. Wear a mask, all that stuff. But now that we have Joe Biden finally stepping down to, he's not going to rerun for president.
Yeah, he ended his campaign.
He ended his campaign. That happened yesterday. In fact, play. Go ahead and play the first video from Biden here.
If you were to continue to run and be officially nominated, what happens if you have another episode like we saw during the debate?
What happens if another?
Yeah, what happens if you have another performance on that on that level?
I don't plan on having another performance on that level.
All right.
All right. Well, Biden, just days before.
Hold on.
Yeah.
What kind of the journalist is the dumb one here?
Yeah.
Why didn't he push him?
Yeah. What'd you say?
What did you say? I'm sorry, sir. You just mumbled. Could you please say that again?
Yeah.
Like, do you remember what happened during the debate? Like, why didn't he push him? Why didn't he have some? Because this is clear. Something's going on here. Everybody sees it. And the fact that the journalist didn't push at all to challenge him on this doesn't make me say what's going on with Joe Biden. It makes me say, yo, what you doing?
Yeah.
Why aren't you pushing this? Why aren't you exposing this?
Because you can, I think, lump in the Democratic Party, the FBI, the Secret Service, the mainstream media, all in the same category.
Here's what happens. Here's what happens. Remember when we interviewed Ted Cruz?
Yep.
And you guys should go
2015.
2015, running for president. We interviewed him. We really pushed Ted. Ted still don't like us to this day.
I was interviewing Ted, and we were pushing him. I started pushing him, but I wouldn't push him hard enough. So Knox is my cameraman.
Yes.
Knox is the camera guy, and if you guys go back and watch the video,
it's inside the pub app.
Is it inside the pub app?
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yes, it is.
And then Knox off camera asked Ted Cruz a question. It's probably the only time that's ever been done to him.
Yes.
Where the cameraman gets involved in it. It was so amazing.
Yeah.
What happened? But anyways, your point is we were pushing Ted.
We're pushing Ted.
Yeah.
The problem isn't the push. That's not where the conflict is. The problem is when the cameras go off.
Yeah.
And you got to look at those people in the eye.
Right.
And you guys got to shake hands. And you got to walk out of the room. And somebody.
And watch his handlers take him out.
And the handlers come up to you and be like, hey, man, what you doing?
Yeah.
Why you do that? Man, we told you to ask these questions.
Yep.
Dealing with the fallout. Because we didn't just have to deal with Ted and it was over. He leaves, but you deal with his handlers, and then we had to see him at the airport. Talk about awkward. It's weird.
That's right.
Oh, it's so weird.
We were flying out of Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
And so like I knew at that point, after we got done, we will never be able to interview him again.
Yeah.
It was probably why he's never
he's never come on the show. Maybe he might now because like his chances of being president are never going to happen again.
It's the credibility that you have to put on the line in order to be able to push this. Yeah. And when you cash that out,
that's right.
When you cash it out, you know you're going to lose something, and they don't cash it out.
Well, and let me just say here. So,
keep going. I'm sorry.
Well, no, that was really good. And what we've known for the longest time is that Biden's been on decline.
Everybody's
apparently, there's been a dementia doctor, a specialist, that has visited the White House something like 8 or 9 times on the Rolodex. That's been going on for years, so they've known it. Basically, he's been on decline. And oh man, I just lost what I was gonna point. Okay.
I was just looking at go ahead.
And so the Democrats have been trying to, for whatever reason, cover this up. Likely because they don't want Kamala to be president. And then the mainstream media has been covering it up. They've been covering up Biden's decline forever. And then finally he steps down. And what's crazy when he steps down is all of a sudden, like, Big Eva starts saying, hey, that was the right thing to do. You love your country so much, you're going to step down running for president. And if he's stepping down right now, if he's incompetent to run for president in 4 months or to run for president these next couple months, why is he not incompetent to be president now? That's a question everyone needs to ask. Russell Moore said, that's the right call for our country. Thank you, Mr. President. And then I retweeted Russell Moore's praise of this moment. And I said, this is how slow Big Eva is. They finally recognized Biden needed to step down when Biden recognized he needed to step down.
Yeah. This is the clip of Biden not too long ago talking about his plans for the presidency.
What's Joe Biden going to do? Is he going to stay in the race? Is he going to drop out? Here's my answer. I am running and we're going to win. I'm not going to change that.
President Biden has dropped out of the 2024 presidential race.
And he doesn't know it yet.
And he probably doesn't. He probably doesn't know, because if you look at the letterhead that first of all, who steps down from running, being the top presidential candidate of the Democratic Party, steps down through a letter and not through like a press release? Like actually
somebody in the comments said, is Joe Biden alive? Stop with the conspiracies.
Well, we don't know. He hasn't been seen.
I'm just saying.
I think he's alive. I don't think that's a conspiracy.
Shame on you.
But here's the deal: is he released a press release without any presidential lettering on it. His signature likely looks copy and pasted.
Gabe, stop. You're doing the conspiracy thing.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just describing the reality of what this letter is.
Stop, Gabe. Stop, Gabe.
Keep coming.
Stop.
That is what a conspiracy is, isn't it? Yeah, I know you're wrong. Keep it coming.
I don't have my foil on. Let me get my foil on first. So Frank Biden, I guess someone from CBS News actually interviewed him.
Aloha, Clayton.
Huh?
No, just saying hi to Clayton.
Oh, okay. And asked, basically Frank Biden confirms that the health was absolutely played a role in his brother Joe Biden dropping out.
So that was brother Biden.
There's a clip of it on X, and I couldn't grab it in time, but that was his brother Biden who's talking about this. And I'm just thinking, like, wait a second. If you can't continue the race, we can talk about the presidential stuff we can talk about the presidential campaign for a moment. Mm-hmm. Can we just talk about the presidency? Yo, are we okay?
Uh-huh.
Like, you can't just drop out the race and not publicly make a declaration immediately and a statement to say, hey, listen, everybody, I know you're worried about me. Everything is fine. I think it's better for me to spend my time focusing my detail on the nation because I get a cold and we almost go to war. Right. I just thought it'd be a good idea.
Right. Yeah.
I get COVID and everybody almost dies. I don't want that to happen. So if he has to drop out because he needs to focus his energy and attention so he doesn't get too tired for a debate, I don't want him being too tired to talk to Putin or whoever else, or just managing basic stuff. Mm-hmm. And by the way, as far the ERLC came out too and said the same thing as Russell Moore, which makes me question: did he ever quit from the ERLC? Because they sound a lot the same.
Yeah.
Anyway, but the ERLC came out and basically said the same. What a wise thing for him to do. I think that's a bunch of crock.
Yeah. Yeah. Why?
Because if it was wise for him to do, he didn't set Kamala up very well at all.
Yeah.
If it's about winning the next 4 years, this is why I think some of this has to be incompetence. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. If it's about winning for the next 4 years, you need to make sure she has a largest platform. The best platform that he can give Kamala to launch from would have been the presidency.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? You know what? I'm going to resign as the president of the United States. Mm-hmm. And let my vice president come in because I think she is what's best for our nation.
Yeah. And our producer said, if they really want to give her the best chance to win in November is Biden to step down and make her president now.
That would have been the best thing to do.
Yep.
And instead he's like, oh yeah, I'm going to finish my time out. You go do whatever you think.
Yeah.
So if you can win it. Yeah. I don't think the Democratic Party has. Although
go ahead.
This has been weird. I've been thinking about this.
Yeah.
It's been surprising to me to watch the momentum change this quick, though. Like, it really did. Like, it changed quickly. I think the Democratic Party has pushing to try and get people excited. And I think a lot of them in that middle area kind of feel excited, too, because a lot of them couldn't vote for Biden.
Uh-huh.
they feel challenged not to vote for Kamala. They consider her a black woman. They consider her a woman. They consider her somewhat more sane than Biden. And so I think that gives them a little energy where they've been wanting another option outside of Trump because they really do hate him, but they really can't support. And so Trump just got he almost got assassinated.
Yeah, I know.
And within a week of that momentum kind of has slowed down a little bit. Even after the RNC was huge. And here this is, I think, I'm not saying that it's a uphill battle for Trump, but it's a pivot.
Yeah.
It is a pivot because Biden was the easy target.
Yeah, right. Well, the thing is, and we're going to get into this here in a second. So first of all, Biden steps down, releases this press release, and doesn't even go to a presser. Hasn't even been seen since he released his press release. But here he is on Twitter, or maybe one of his handlers typed this up, basically endorsing Kamala Harris. He said, "My fellow Democrats, I've decided not to accept the nomination and to focus all my energies on my duties as president for the remainder of my term. My very first decision as the party nominee in 2020 was to pick Kamala Harris as my vice president because she was black and had boobs." And that was not in the tweet. "And it's been the best decision I've made. Today, I want to offer my full support and endorsement for Kamala to be the nomination of our party this year. Democrats, it's time to come together and beat Trump. Let's do this." So he endorses Kamala for the convention in August, the Democratic convention in August. And this is but what's been funny since she's been endorsed is all these old videos resurfacing of Kamala. And just her old gaffes, what's crazy to me is Kamala the problem with her is she doesn't have dementia and she talks this way.
"I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been. What can 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 be unburdened by what has been. What we can see, what we believe can be, unburdened by what has been. What can be.
I don't even know what this means.
Unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. Who we can be unburdened by who we have been. What can be.
Someone in the comment section just try to explain what she's trying to say here. What's this?
And unburdened by where we are.
What's this saying?
What can be.
What can be.
Unburdened by what has been. What can be.
Unburdened by what has been.
What can
She's still
be
talking.
Unburdened by what has been.
Apparently this goes on for like 4 minutes.
Don't interrupt your future president.
By what had been. What can be unburdened by what has been.
What does that mean?
Unburdened by what has been.
I love the altar call music underneath the bottom of this. This is like the best. It's like come to Jesus.
Come to Jesus.
What can be.
It's like an altar call, but you don't know what she's saying.
By what has been. Unburdened by what has been, believing in what can be. What can be. Unburdened by what has been.
Whoever put this video together has been paying attention for a long time.
Well, I don't think it's that hard to find anymore. What can be unburdened by what has been. I'm gonna give my best rendering.
Please, right? I do not know what she's saying.
To be fair, is my best rendering of this. What can be the future? What we all want.
Yep.
The idea of reparations.
Yep.
The idea of freedom. Women's.
Yes.
There's so much to say about this. Women's rights. The ability to be able to finally vote. What can be the future of our freedoms, unburdened by the past of our failures.
Okay.
Right. So I think that's what she's.
Demons be gone.
I don't like the fact that I can speak Kamala.
That was.
I don't know if I like that.
I buy that explanation. That's good.
But I think that's what she's trying to say. And the reason
I should write this in one of my one of my updated speeches.
I know we laugh at this, but you got to remember that Democrats are really, really good at saying something and letting you interpret what it means.
Yeah, right.
This is not an accident, and a lot of people want to make this. Oh, this is kind of funny, poking at her. Yeah. Everybody who she's talking to, they hear it, and she's not writing for you. Yeah. She's writing for somebody else, and they get it.
Right.
They have a what can be unburdened by what has been. They actually have that idea. They actually have that narrative, and they are playing that in their head as much as she is talking about it. Yeah. And so that resonates a lot with people. I also want to say something else too. You ever notice like Kamala's, if you look at Kamala, her clips of insanity or consistent Whatever
a dribble
this
is. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of them really don't start until after her after she becomes vice president. Kamala before that was vicious.
Oh yeah.
You got to remember, right? Kamala, they tamed her down in one way or another as a public and kept her locked into a box of communication. What you see happening with Kamala is not the fact that she is stupid. A lot of people want to say that. She is trying to play within the box and context they told her to play with.
Yeah.
And her friction is every time she comes to the edge and she wants to come out of it, she catches herself when she has to say, well, what's my key lines? Oh yes. Yeah. What can be unburdened by what has been.
Yeah, right.
To stop her from being the kind of person
from going off script.
Going off script.
Yeah.
And so I wonder if we're going to get a different Kamala now that she doesn't have to live in the narrative of Joe Biden and his presidency. I wonder if they're going to let her loose because when I go back and watch old Kamala clips, she is aggressively trying to change the narrative. She wants to go back and say, "Hey, listen, how do I tell parents that I'm going to take them to jail?"
Right.
If their kids don't show up in school.
That's right.
She didn't have you go back and watch all of her. She has no problems communicating very well. Now her cackle is the same, right?
Right.
But how she communicates is radically different.
Yep.
When she got more polished into the commercial eye, when she started running for president even, I say, or maybe even after she took senator, because some of the clips I see, but she changed how she communicated so that she can fit a broader audience.
Yep.
And that narrative, we don't like it. What can be unburdened by what has been.
Yeah.
It's not for us, but you better believe it resonates with a lot of people that she wants to win.
Yeah.
But
I think ultimately, the Democrats know. Hey, Toby from Wisconsin. The Democrats know that she is a worse candidate than Biden, and there's a couple things going on here. One is no potential leading candidate for president in the Democratic Party is going to jump in right now. No way. Gavin Newsom not jumping in. Michelle Obama not jumping in.
This is basically a lamb to the wolves. Yeah, absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
And so it's only but the two options that I only see. Kamala's already basically accepted this anointing from President Biden. Is Kamala Harris, Commie Harris, and Hillary Clinton. No one else is going to jump in. Hillary, this would be her only chance, or her second chance to run.
She knows she don't have a chance either. Hillary Clinton doesn't really. She knows better.
But she knows this would be her last chance. So why not? Why not give it a shot?
She might do it for the relevancy.
Yeah.
But I don't think she would do it thinking she would actually win.
They fool themselves. They trick themselves to do these kind of things. But
whoever's being put out now is put out to lose.
Yeah, that's right. And so, and then you have, so many people have been bringing this point up, where it's like you have this supposed democratic process, go state by state primary to elect your candidate, your ideal candidate, to be ratified at the convention basically in August. Well, Joe Biden steps down. He gets all the states to vote for him. Even though most of these states probably knew he had some level of dementia, he gets all the states to vote for him. This is a great little cartoon, and then he decides to step down. Now, and then he endorses Kamala, and so right now you have all this background maneuvering happening. To basically take away the democratic process. From the Democratic Party, who keeps saying Trump's a threat to democracy.
You see the picture here? That's what can be, what has been. So
that's right. So they say the Democratic Party. Biden said this multiple times that Trump's a threat to democracy. Trump's a threat to democracy. And right now, the Democratic Party is in the process of removing any sort of democratic process to select one of their own candidates to run against Trump in November.
I am thinking that we better buckle up. This is going to be really interesting.
Yeah.
And I think it's the Kamala thing is really interesting. I think that what you don't want right now is to lose all your momentum. You might not think that you can win, but you don't want to lose all of your momentum to the right. Mm-hmm. You don't want to lose all your momentum to the, and I think that they're going to take the black community as much as they possibly can. try and unite it around Kamala and push that as the tip of the spear through to get everybody there. Now, I don't think they feel like they're going to win at all, but you can't let the Republicans have a runaway. This is, I think Jason Whitlock made this clear. I think he's right. The Republicans have the game, and now they're playing the clock. I think that's the reality. They're playing the clock, and it's theirs to mess up. And I never put it past them to do something that's crazy, but it's going to be interesting for the next couple of years.
You remember when Luke Heffron brings this up, and was it 2020? We played the Hunger Games.
Oh my goodness, that's right.
Do we got the game? Do we got
no,
a song?
No. I don't have it here with it. Yeah. We probably need to bring it back.
We need to bring that back.
Yeah,
because that's what Luke over on YouTube says. U.S. presidency race starting to look like the Hunger Games.
What do we call that? We called it the
Hunger Games 2020, election 2020 Hunger Games, or whatever we had.
We had a whole
for it. So we played the Hunger Games back in years ago for one of the elections, and in a lot of ways, this is what it's starting to really look like for the Democratic Party. Who's going to be the anointed one?
You think it's Hunger? I think Hunger Games was worse. I don't think we're at that place.
Yeah.
But anyway, what was I going to say? I wish Pastor Toby was here. I was going to ask him one more question. Well, if you're single, get married. If you're married, have you some kids. And if you have kids, go baptize them. Until tomorrow, love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love your neighbor as yourself. Go fight, laugh, and feast. This is Cross Politic. Don't believe every conspiracy. These people are just incompetent in a lot of ways. Not all incompetence. I think so. I don't think it's all conspiracy.
Chip's right. America loves liars.
Ouch.